Hello, my name is James. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. The new movie, Smile, is written and directed by Parker Finn, who also made the movies Hide Behind and Laura Hasn't Slept. It stars Sosie Bacon as Rose Cutter, Jesse T. Usher as Trevor, and Kal Penn as document Morgan Desai, Kyle Gallner, and Caitlin Stasey play the roles of Joel, Laura Weaver respectively in the movie. The movie is about a psychiatrist who is haunted by the evil spirit of a patient who killed themselves. The evil spirit makes Rose face her fears and memories of bad experiences from the past, causing her to feel upset and scared. Did she live? Let's see what we can find out. The movie starts with a close-up shot of a dead body. As the camera pans out, we see lots of pills, empty bottles, and burnt cigarettes. This suggests that the woman might have been depressed and taking medication, and she may have overdosed on antidepressants. The scene changes, and we meet Dr. Rose Cutter, who is a psychiatrist at the hospital. Dr. Rose is a very good psychiatrist who has a special relationship with all her patients. She often gets in trouble with her boss, Morgan Desai, because she tries to help people who don't have insurance. Rose has a new patient, Laura Weaver. Laura is a very smart person who was brought to the hospital after she saw her college professor die by hitting himself in the head with a jackhammer. Rose is trying to tell Laura that she is not alone and that she has been seeing things that other people cannot see. She says that the figures follow her everywhere and give her a very sinister smile. Suddenly Laura sees something and goes into shock. Rose tries to calm Laura, who has now been possessed by the strange figure, donning the same eerie smile, but to no avail, as Laura slits her throat and drowns in her blood. After Laura died, the police questioned Rose to try to understand Laura's mental state. Rose told us that Laura was having some problems where she was feeling really paranoid and believed that someone evil was haunting her. Rose was extremely upset after witnessing Laura's death, and she began to see things that weren't really there. In her mind, she saw Laura standing in the dark with a scary grin on her face. Rose wants to know more about Laura, so she asks a nurse for help in getting Laura's medical records. Laura was the only person who saw a professor at her university kill himself with a blunt object. The reports also mentioned that the professor was making the same evil laugh that Laura did when she killed herself, suggesting that he was also possessed by the same dark force. Rose's hallucinations were getting worse, and she was given a paid week off when she ordered her staff to detain one of her patients, whom she believed to be hostile and violent. Rose has another hallucination and finds herself in her old home. She sees her mother's dead body and realizes that the little girl she saw at the beginning was herself. Rose asked another psychiatrist for a prescription for Risperdal, a medicine used to treat schizophrenia, hallucinations, dementia, and more, but the other psychiatrist said no. Rose was very upset after her mother died by suicide, and she kept having nightmares about that night. Laura's death may have made the nightmares even worse. The evil spirit might be controlling Rose and making her do things she doesn't want to do, like kill her cat, Mustache, and wrap herself up like a present for her nephew, George. She goes to the ER after an anxiety attack on George's birthday and hurts herself. Rose is trying to warn her fiancé that a dangerous spirit is following her and intends to harm her and those close to her, but Trevor doesn't believe her and says she's just imagining things. Rose visits Mr. Munez's wife in the hope of getting some answers about her husband's death. She reveals that she has often seen Gabriel talking to himself. Mrs. Munez brings Rose to Gabriel's office to show him her sketches of the evil Crackle. In reality, Professor Gabriel saw someone commit suicide, just like Rose. Afterward, he was never the same. Professor Gabriel was staying in a motel when he witnessed Angela Powell committing suicide. An incident report filed days before Angela's death suggested that she, like Gabriel, Laura, and Rose, saw someone take his own life. There is a demon that causes people to kill themselves, and it is responsible for all of the suicides that have been happening. The pattern has so far claimed the lives of 19 victims, and none of them have survived longer than a week. This suggests that Rose is running out of time. One of the victims of the crime spree, Robert Talley, has survived and is now sentenced to life in prison for first-degree murder. This breaks the pattern of the crimes. Rose's ex-boyfriend is trying to talk to someone who can help him understand why so many people have been killing themselves. He still can't believe that an evil force is behind it all. Rose and Joel meet with Tally, who starts crying after she tells them that she saw one of her patients commit suicide. Tally was able to escape the pattern by sacrificing someone else's life instead of his own. The evil entity lives off of people's fear and trauma, and it needs death in order to spread from one person to the next. Tally saw his boss commit suicide and, in order to save his life, murdered an innocent woman, but someone else witnessed the horrific murders and stabbed himself to death a few days later, resuming the pattern. The entity keeps haunting Laura, appearing to her as the people she loves. It reminds her that she can never escape and will eventually have to kill herself. Rose knows that the only way to break the curse is to kill someone, so she starts to imagine killing her patient Carl and her boss Morgan. Rose drives to her old house. Her mother killed herself there in hopes of saving herself and stopping the murderous pattern. Rose has a dream in which she sees her mother crying in pain and begging for help. The evil demon appears and chases Rose through the abandoned house. But Rose manages to burn the demon and walks out of the burning house safely. She thought she had broken the curse, so she apologized to Joel for pushing him away and ruining their friendship. Rose was afraid of people finding out she was lying, and so she isolated herself to avoid them. Rose hears a sinister laugh and realizes that the curse is still in effect. She asks Joel to stay with her. Rose runs out of the house and is shocked to find herself in front of the house. She realizes that she has been hallucinating this entire time. She runs into the abandoned house and locks the door so Joel can't come in. The entity appears again and enters Rose's body, finally possessing her. Rose screams, so Joel breaks down the door and comes in. Once in, Rose greets Joel with a sinister smile and burns herself, eventually passing on the curse to him, and the pattern continues. The evil spirit gets bigger and more dangerous as it eats people's fears and hurt feelings. The evil waits for days before devouring its current victim so that it can move on to the next victim. Gabriel, Laura, and Rose were all similar to each other in more ways than just one. Gabriel's wife didn't believe that an evil spirit was following him, even when Rose said she saw the same visions. She told Rose to leave her house. Even though Rose doesn't want to believe it, Laura suggests that the evil spirit traumatized her and caused her to have PTSD. Rose gets a taste of her own medicine when Trevor abandons her just when she needs him most. This is similar to how she abandoned her mother when she was crying out for help. The movie shows how some people in society treat those who are dealing with difficult emotions or mental health problems. People with mental illness often suffer in silence because they worry that others will laugh at them or think they are crazy.